One million years ago, a cave bunny in a fur bikini invented mascara and changed human history forever. And I, Joe Bob Briggs, will bring you that story tonight with our first Monstervision feature, the great 1 million years BC, which had its world premiere in 1966 at the late great Gemini Drive-In in Dallas. And we're going to follow that up with yet another classic of primitive urges, King Kong Lives, the Linda Hamilton sequel about giant monkey sex. All right, you are definitely going to need some information about our prehistoric origins, so pay attention to this. We have 4 eras of history in this old Mother Earth of ours. We have the Precambrian down here. We have the Paleozoic. We have the Mesozoic, and we have the Cenozoic. Now, tonight, we'll be concerned with what is, in geological terms, a mere weekend to go. The Mesozoic and the Cenozoic. Of course, the Mesozoic is divided into the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. And the Cenozoic consists of the Tertiary and Quaternary, which are words that come in handy at conventions of rock collectors. And also the Quaternary is further divided into 2 epochs, the Pleistocene and the Holocene, or recent epoch, from the Latin holo and scene, meaning the whole scene, ending yay. So, what's the one word you recognized in all of that? Jurassic, right? Dinosaurs. Where was that? Right here, 155 million years ago. What's the name of tonight's movie? 1 million years ago. Are there dinosaurs in tonight's movie? Yes. How can we explain this? Because look where 1 million is. It's way up here. Here's the dinosaurs back down here. We're up in Pleistocene. Dinosaurs are back here at Cretaceous. Jurassic mostly, but a little bit in Cretaceous. Dinosaurs are extinct here 120 million years ago until this movie came out. I wasn't kidding when I said this was a groundbreaking movie. This movie located 8 surviving dinosaurs 119 million years after we thought the last one was wiped out. And what was their diet of choice? I can tell you what, it wasn't Caesar salad. No, it was the hominid. Now, what is the hominid, class? About 7 million years ago, some of the African apes got a little kinky, and we ended up with early man. He looked basically like one of my cousins from Appalachia. You remember Lucy, the 3 million-year-old lady monkey they discovered, Australopithecus afarensis, ape woman? Okay, then 2 million years ago, our brains got a little bigger and we became Homo habilis. Homo habilis. Homo as in human, and habilis as in better dressed than the one before. And then 1 million years ago, our brains got even bigger and we became Homo erectus. And of course, we all know what that means. Every homo has been erectus ever since then. Of course, then 50,000 years ago, our brains got really, really big and we called ourselves Homo sapiens, meaning the wise homo. So the question is, what exactly did we look like 1 million years ago? Basically, as near as we can tell from recent excavations in the region of Ur, the ancient city believed to be the site of the first human habitation, we think that man looked like this. Yeah. Yes, sir, I got your Homo erectus right here. Yummy. 1 million years BC, the sensitive tale of a guy who gets kicked out of his evil dark-haired tribe, meets a civilized blonde-haired Aryan tribe, gets romantic with Raquel Welch, and fights a whole lot of giant iguanas and animated dinosaurs. Let's do the drive-in totals and get it started. We have 24 dead bodies, no breath, 1966. 1 big bang, 1 food fight, 12 giant prehistoric monsters, 1 bitch-slapping cat fight, prehistoric professional wrestling, prehistoric exotic dancing, simultaneous volcano and earthquake, dinosaur impaling, rock clubbing, stick clubbing, hand biting, torch foo, animal pelt foo, 3 stars. Check it out, and we'll be here all night to trace the historical accuracy of what we're seeing.
Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and 1 million years BC on TNT.
The world premiere of 1 million years BC, as I mentioned, was right here in Dallas at Gordon McClendon's fabled Gemini Drive-In Theater. Currently the site of a used car lot because some people just don't understand historical preservation, do they? But this flick was the first big-budget Hammer film. Before this, they were strictly a low-budget studio, mostly did horror films, and this movie was still low-budget by most standards. Now, we haven't seen Raquel yet. I think they wanted to heighten the entrance by putting it off slightly, but we do have the very hot Martine Beswick as Nupandi, the catty brunette cave woman, star of other Hammer favorites like Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, and she made a lot for Hammer. But Martine was Miss Jamaica of 1961, even though she didn't look very Jamaican to me. What do you think, Mon? Jamaican? Then Martine made 2 James Bond movies, and she did a special Bond photo shoot for Playboy, which is where writer-producer Michael Carrera spotted her and hired her for this movie. He was reading it for the articles, I'm sure. Anyhow, he cast her in 1 Million Years BC, and then she did another cave bunny role as the evil queen who worships the sacred white rhino in Prehistoric Women. And then for a while, she was out of the business. She was waiting tables for a while. She made The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood, best of the Happy Hooker sequels, by the way. She did commercials for Sambo's. Martine, if you're watching, where are you now, honey? Give us a call. We need to have you on the show. Okay, before we get back to the flick, let's check our charts here one more time. See, within the Pleistocene, or glacial epoch, which is what we have here at 1 million BC, we've got the upper, middle, and lower Paleolithic. Not really on here, but a million years ago was the lower Paleolithic. So, like we had barbecued warthog in that last part, right? Evidence of animal bones which appear to have been deliberately burnt are dated at over 1 million years ago. So they did get something right. Animal skin clothing, however, wasn't invented till the upper Paleolithic, which is more recent than 1 million BC. So this movie should have been done naked. Ask me if I'm happy about that. Okay, let's get back to it. These guys, though, they did do a better job at historical accuracy than they did in the original 1 million BC in 1940. Girls in that movie wore high heels with ankle straps, you know. Of course, the best of both worlds would have been naked with high heels, right? That doesn't appear on the charts till sometime later, unfortunately. That would be up here in the Ordovician Ginger Lynn period, I believe. People say to me, Joe Bob, where can I download? I don't want to hear about that. Ask your mother about that. But if you want to find out about the Monstervision schedule or read some of the weirdest mail I've gotten since my ex-wife sent me a cherry bomb Valentine, or just ogle the Playmate of the Week, then write this down, tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. 24 hours a day, you can waste time there and download all you want.
Visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and 1 Million Years BC on TNT.
That's John Richardson as Tumac, the dehydrated caveman fighting off giant iguanas, tarantulas, and ape men. I love him in She, the great Ursula Andress Hammer picture. He did all kinds of Italian B-movies in the 70s, and then he basically disappeared for 20 years. Last thing he did was an American movie called Broadcast Bombshells in 95. Not a bad little movie. Then I kind of lost track of him again after that. But speaking of the Italians, have you noticed the music in this baby? This music here is by a composer named Mario Nascimbene, and he used all kinds of crazy things to make the sounds. He used rocks and sticks and the jawbone of an ass. Okay, really, he used that. Okay, time for some serious fur bikini action. Roll it. Great thing about Mario Nascimbene music is that you can take a really stupid actor who can't deliver his lines and just have him look off into the horizon, and you'll think that something just happened because of the music. Like, watch this. You know what I was thinking about? Nachos. Now watch this. Bugs Bunny. You can't beat Mario, can you? Mario Nascimbene. Oh, I see we have some comedians in the audience. Well, we have an outlet for all that destructive energy, young man and young woman. Just enter our Monstervision caption contest and try to make the six-headed jury laugh. And the winner gets our exclusive Monstervision t-shirt, plus the scorn of all the sore losers. Just go to tnt.turner.com/Monstervision, and maybe you can prove just how hysterically funny your mom never realized you are.
Play the Monster Caption Contest and win a free t-shirt at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and 1 Million Years BC on TNT.
Okay, let's talk about Raquel Welch. First of all, horn blowing was not her greatest skill. But let's assume she was traumatized by the giant turtle attack. Born in Chicago, grew up in San Diego, married at 16, 2 kids, divorced by the age of 21. She kept that secret for a while because potential sex goddesses don't have kids. After working as a cocktail waitress at a Dallas hotel, she moved to Hollywood. She met manager and husband number 2, Patrick Curtis, in a coffee shop. They formed a company, and they carefully planned out her career, which started with the Deb Star Ball, which is a beauty pageant for neophyte actresses. And they put her in a white dress to show off that tawny complexion of hers. They cut slits on the side and rehearsed her walk for hours to get that sensual look. And that paid off, and pretty soon she had the likes of Cary Grant and Elvis Presley asking her out on dates. She said no, of course. And then she got her first lead that year doing a striptease in a musical called A Swingin' Summer, which led to the sci-fi hit Fantastic Voyage, which led to 1 Million Years BC. And then she was the most photographed woman of 1966. She was featured on the covers of 92 European magazines and 16 American ones, which made her a major sex symbol, but it kind of set her up for failure as an actress because she was suddenly under a microscope, and a lot of people didn't think she had the stuff to carry it off, and her movies kept tanking, so she started doing nightclubs and TV shows, and she hardly did a thing in the 80s except a couple of those TV Disease of the Week movies, you know. And then in the 90s, she started making exercise videos and infomercials, and in 95, she was cast in that TV show Central Park West that went down the tubes. She couldn't save it. And last year, she took over for Julie Andrews in the troubled Broadway show Victor Victoria, and she couldn't save that one either. So she stole Kathy Moriarty's boyfriend, Richie, and married him in August. 20 years younger than her, a struggling actor. Moriarty picked him from obscurity in Queens and set him up in L.A. as her partner in a pizza place. He was delivering the pizzas. So how mad do you think Kathy is? Okay, back to the flick. Oh, I almost forgot to do the numbers. You ready? 37. I should have my pointer here. I lost my pointer. 37, 22 and a half, 35 and a half. Raquel says her best assets are her back, teeth, hands, and feet. In that order. I might disagree with that. But Raquel, if you're watching tonight, we think you're a success, honey. We think you're a big, huge, don't even talk to me about it success, you poor baby.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and 1 Million Years BC on TNT.
Have you noticed that all the red-haired tribe does all day is sharpen their spears? Are they supposed to be red-haired or blonde-haired? I can't tell. And speaking of primitive appetites, it's time for the weekly Joe Bob Briggs preview tribute to big hoo-ha movies from the world of the fantastic, the horrifying, and the merely cool, also known as the segment where we show a trailer. Also known as Joe Bob's Shameless Plugs. Remember last week's Shameless Plug? You guys are acting like you remember it. There was not a movie last week. We didn't do this last week. We've never done this before. And you may be wondering why I, Joe Bob Briggs, would show a preview trailer of a movie that's opening in theaters when we've got a perfectly good Monstervision classic here to watch. And the answer is, I will not do anything that violates my code of professional ethics. However, I will do anything for money. So, a couple of dead presidents across the palm. It's all it takes to show a preview of this week's featured movie. Actually, the movie opened yesterday. The big DreamWorks animated release, Ants. Let's go to the clip.
Beneath
beneath our feet lies another world.
Why'd I have to be born a worker?
In case you haven't noticed, we ants are running the show. We're the lords of the earth.
A world just like our own.
Okay, everybody, 6:15, time to dance.
Don't you want your 8-bit beer?
Call me crazy, but I have a thing about drinking from the caboose of another creature.
Suit yourselves.
Z was just another face in the crowd until the day she came into his life.
Hi. Want to dance?
Absolutely.
What on earth are you doing?
You know, why does everybody have to dance the same way? You know, that's completely boring.
It's no fun. Princess Bala, the guards are coming!
You're a princess. When can I see you again?
Never. Bye.
No, wait. Switch places with me. This is the only way I can see Princess Bala.
Oh, boy.
Princess Bala! Princess Bala! Hey, it's me!
We received word that the termite enemy has mobilized.
This guy's crazy.
I am proud to send you into battle.
I'm sorry, into battle?
Now, destiny will make him a hero.
One soldier did make it back.
You're the guy from the bar.
Worker danced with my fiancée. Arrest him.
Hey, wait a minute.
Let go of me!
And it will take him on an adventure beyond his wildest dreams.
So he kills himself 100 termites. Then bada bing, bada bip, bags himself the princess.
I can't believe you tried to pass yourself off as a soldier.
The trick is not to panic.
And he's about to discover that the challenges of the outside world are the least of his problems.
I've been kidnapped by the village Eddie.
I know almost exactly what I'm doing.
We will spare no effort to bring her back.
Look out!
This fall, one ant
See, help me!
will rise above it all to prove that he's one in a million. DreamWorks Pictures and PBI present
It looks like this is it. Just when I was starting to like you.
Ant.
Who could resist that? Woody Allen is a neurotic Jewish worker ant who just can't stand it anymore. But it gets better because Sharon Stone plays his ant girlfriend, the daughter of the ant queen, Anne Bancroft. Sylvester Stallone is the soldier ant who becomes Woody's best friend. Gene Hackman plays General Mandible. And the real star of the flick is the groundbreaking computer animation. Supposedly they're going to a whole new level in this film, creating this underground world of millions of ants. The animation nerds are just going ape over this movie because of three things, basically. They got more realistic face animation than anybody's ever done before, plus crowd scenes that nobody's done before, plus special effects simulating water, which is one of the hardest things to do in animation. But what I want to know is, if it's the state-of-the-art in computer animation, why do they need these things? They sent this to me. They used this to make the movie, and it looks cool and everything, but supposedly they did the thing in a computer. Anyway, it's a dang good romantic thriller, special effects, action, comedy sort of thing, if that makes sense. And but seriously, we are going to be showing upcoming film trailers in this segment each week as an effort to keep you current on the very latest in horror, sci-fi, and the other weird stuff that only Monstervision fans can love. Okay, back to the movie. And speaking of special effects, these special effects were done by the great Ray Harryhausen back in the primitive days before computers took over the whole world, okay? Roll it. And speaking of even better special effects, Raquel's bikini here, you know? They got some kind of cantilever construction thing going on there. The chamois that's made out of isn't even big enough to wash my windshield, and yet somehow it manages to still lift and separate, you know? I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and people do write to me, and some of them try real hard to get on TV. Let me tell you something that won't work. Hey, Joe Bob, you remind me of a castrated pigeon. Please read this on TV and say my name and the name of my cousin and tell me when it'll be on. Okay, here's something that will work. Dear Joe Bob, not since the novels of Leo Tolstoy has there been a genius able to speak to the whole world as you have since the arrival of Monstervision. Now, you see the difference? Castrated pigeon, Tolstoy. Don't forget this. Send those letters and cards to me in care of Monstervision, 1010 Techwood Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318, or email me at monstervision@turner.com. Maybe Tolstoy's a little far. William Butler Yeats, better example.
Don't miss Monstervision, hosted by Joe Bob Briggs, every Saturday night on TNT.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and 1 Million Years BC on TNT.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Luana and Tumac are cuddling. And speaking of people I'd like to be cuddling with, it's time for our weekly installment of Joe Bob's Advice to the Hopeless with help from Rusty, our lovable TNT mail girl. And Rusty, do you ever wonder what sex was like in caveman times?
I can't say that I've ever wondered about that, Joe Bob.
Well, I mean, you got to figure that once they hit puberty, it was pretty much an all-out orgy, because with all those hormones raging, no social constraints, just one big urge to perpetuate the species.
I don't think I'm that concerned with perpetuating the species.
Of course, you had to knock the girl out first and drag her off somewhere before you had sex with her. And I don't like that part. I don't approve of that, because women have enough ways to pass out without doing it for them.
If you're planning to proposition me, I believe in negative population growth.
You're not going to have kids?
Not with you. Here's a letter from Tony Rojas in Southgate, California.
Rusty. You're supposed to tease me a little bit before you shoot me down, okay? Dear Mr. Joe Bob Briggs, my name is Tony Rojas. I'm in the 10th grade at Southgate High School, and I watch your show when I can. I think that your show rules. I think you should run for president because I would vote for you. And I think your jokes are the coolest. It's weak the way you try to teach people a little science, and everybody looks at you stupidly just because they think you're a moron. But you're not a moron. You're cool. I wish you would rule the world. Sincerely, Tony Rojas, Southgate, California. I love when people compliment you by saying everyone else in the world thinks you're a stupid moron, but I think you're great. Well, thanks, Tony. In fact, both the Democrats and the Republicans have approached me to run for president in the year 2K. Apparently, they know I'm someone women can say no to. And I'm glad you appreciate our science lessons. It took me and the crack TNT research department just minutes upon minutes to put together tonight's show. And I tell you what, when I rule the world, you can be my VP, Tony. Okay, let's get back to 1 million years BC. And Rusty, I thought we talked about you wearing a doe-skin bikini to celebrate the movie tonight.
And I believe you talked about that, but I don't think I talked about it at all.
You know what I love about cave girls?
Tell me.
They have mascara. Now, think how many days and weeks it must have taken to find the perfect rock, pound it into fine granules, mix it with pure spring water, and churn it into mascara. That's the problem with modern women. They just don't want to work that hard anymore.
Oh, you're such an expert on modern women.
And cave women.
All women.
I'm glad you feel that way.
And you're so sensitive. You always pick up on sarcasm, no matter how subtle it is.
Thank you. People say to me, Joe Bob, where can I download? I don't want to hear about that. Ask your mother about that. But if you want to find out about the Monstervision schedule or read some of the weirdest mail I've gotten since my ex-wife sent me a cherry bomb Valentine, or just ogle the Playmate of the Week, then write this down, tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. 24 hours a day, you can waste time there and download all you want.
Visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and 1 Million Years BC on TNT.
Now we're getting into what is called super panimation, because Ray Harryhausen, the special effects guy, got criticized for using real lizards and insects in those first two scenes. The giant iguana, the giant tarantula. The giant sea turtle was a model done with stop-motion animation, though. And a lot of people thought that was a real turtle, photographed the same way they did the other two, which Harryhausen took as a compliment. The brontosaurus that was in the background towards the beginning was supposed to attack the people later in the flick, but to do another animated scene would have put the movie 3 or 4 months over schedule. Ray was a little slow sometimes, so they just stuck him in there as atmosphere. Really gets me the way they make the dinosaurs die, all that screaming and roaring. You know, we're all jaded now because of Jurassic Park, but you got to give these guys their due credit. That was good work in these movies. Okay, let's roll it. And you know, I mentioned the Cave Girl mascara, but I noticed in that big emotional scene with Raquel, it was also waterproof mascara. And I didn't think waterproof mascara showed up until, you know, at least up here in the Pleistocene, or the Holocene epoch. And other than that, the movie's totally historically accurate. Oh, I see we have some comedians in the audience. Well, we have an outlet for all that destructive energy, young man and young woman. Just enter our Monstervision caption contest and try to make the six-headed jury laugh. And the winner gets our exclusive Monstervision t-shirt, plus the scorn of all the sore losers. Just go to tnt.turner.com/Monstervision, and maybe you can prove just how hysterically funny your mom never realized you are.
Play the Monster Caption Contest and win a free t-shirt at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and 1 Million Years BC on TNT.
By the way, we did check with a professor at the Harvard Institute of Prehistory, and that scene was totally historically accurate. That's exactly how man invented skinny dipping. Boy, which tribe would you rather live with, the Shell people, who have already invented blow dryers, or the Rock people, who have never even taken a bath? The old guy who plays a Koba, the ousted leader, by the way, that's Robert Brown, who played M in most of the James Bond flicks of the 80s. 2 of the Roger Moore flicks and both of the Timothy Dalton Bond movies. After that, they made M into a woman, which I think they should have given that to Martine Beswick. You know, would have been a nice bookend, wouldn't it? They gave it to Judi Dench. As usual, nobody listens to me. Okay, the pterodactyl wanted to feed Raquel Welch to her young, but Raquel and her 2 enormous talents have escaped now, and she lies wounded somewhere in the Canary Islands where they shot this movie. So let's get back to the stunning conclusion of 1 million years BC. I don't think I've ever figured out what the big deal is about that warthog tusk thing that Martine Beswick is so obsessed over. But I'm just going to let that go, okay? I'm going to apply the 16th century Zen koan. When the bodies are hot, who needs plot?
And now, Joe Bob's Last Call and King Kong Lives on TNT.
I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and there's nothing like a double whammy volcano and avalanche to tidy up a caveman plot at the end, is there? Did you notice how the distance between the rock tribe and the sea tribe went from a blistering, death-defying journey at the beginning of the movie to a nice, easy walk around the block by the end of the movie? And did you notice how the whole cast started saying Akita in those last scenes? Akita, Akita, you know? I think that's when they first started using the word Akita, so that by the time the sequel came out, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, every other word in that movie was Akita. 1 million years BC, starring the babe of the 60s and 70s, Raquel W. Okay, next up we have King Kong Lives, but first I want to remind you that next week Monstervision will be preempted by Chanorama. This is going to be great. A whole mess of Jackie Chan movies hosted by the man himself, which yours truly will definitely be checking out. But the week after that, we'll be featuring a suburban door to hell in the 1987 movie The Gate and the infamous Twilight Zone the movie as Monstervision returns to its pitiful regular time slot. All right, in 1976, Italian producer Dino De Laurentiis decided he was going to be the one to remake the old 1933 King Kong movie. He vowed that when the monkey die, everybody gonna cry. Well, the critics hated the movie, but people wanted to see it, and it was a big overseas hit, so 10 years later, he decided to make a sequel. He asked Stephen King if he would write it. Stephen King said no. So he asked a bunch of other people if they would write it. They all said no. But it's basically Dino's plot. Doctors bring out largest stethoscope in world, big monkey heart go a ka-thumpa ka-thumpa. In other words, Kong gets a pacemaker, and we get to see the actual monkey IV work and watch him wake up in intensive monkey care. Okay, I got to be honest with you. When King Kong Lives came out in the theaters, most people didn't like it too much. And I think I was one of the few who did like it because I could identify with the monkey love story. They have to fly this giant bimbo monkey over to East Tennessee to give Kong the transfusions he needs to survive. But But then as soon as he wakes up, the bimbo monkey is gone, and so he starts ripping the needles out of his arm and knocking down buildings in search of Monkey Nookie. Of course, pretty soon the army starts shooting rockets at Kong and tear gassing his wife and driving him down to the Everglades where he gets tortured by some geek duck hunters, and it's only a matter of time till you know what? Monkey foo. Let's do the drive-in totals and get it started. We have 2 breasts, which of course you'll never see on TNT, 2 monkey breasts, which you will see, 15 dead bodies, 5 dead cars with 2 crash and burns, monkey vision, giant ape transfusion, gooey monkey surgery, monkey tear gas, King Kong Butch Cassidy impression, giant monkey dungeon, live alligator eating, redneck eating, trailer park stomping, maternity sequel Kong, gratuitous DeLorean smashing, jungle dart foo, monkey thorazine foo, 2.5 stars. Check it out. We'll be here to jumpstart you when necessary. See, when the writers told Dino their idea, he said nobody would believe in a female Kong. So they said, Dino, King Kong had to have a mother. And Dino said, Mamma mia, I never would have think of that. I'm going to try to keep my Dino impersonations to a minimum, but it won't be easy.